folks, if you could please take a seat or stand quietly. I'd like to call the business meeting to order. Thank you all for being here. First thing I'd like to do is one more time recognize the executive committee and the folks that put this together. So I think it's been a fantastic meeting so far, and special thanks to Rob Poporowski, the local arrangements chair, for making sure that we're all well taken care of. So thanks very much. Secretary Schluter, do we have a quorum?
Yes.
All right. So with a quorum, I guess we'll proceed with the agenda. First things first, usually we get an NED report. So are there any reps from the NED here that would like to say something on behalf of the Northeast Division? Karin? Yeah.
Are there any reps here?
Well, who can best speak about NED? Anybody? John, you gave it last time.
Yeah, I'll do it again.
Want a microphone?
Same one. Thanks. The NAD met with Southern New England chapter. Our meeting last.
Okay. Yeah, you may have to go.
Might have to come this way. All right.
And we had a joint meeting. The only reason that NED was there was to have our business meeting there, since the Northeast Fish and Wildlife Conference was out of the Northeastern Division boundaries. But it was very successful. It wasn't as big as this one. But both the chapter and the division made good profit on the meeting. We had a lot of students, and it was very well received. And I think we'll probably be doing that more often in the future.
And we've been in discussions with NED about holding a joint meeting with them for Karin's meeting. So she's in discussion with them. So the next meeting of this organization will probably be a joint meeting with the NED. So, and we'll let Karin talk a little bit more about that a little later. Next thing we need to do is review the minutes. So if you could all take a look at the minutes that Scott's provided, and we'll review those and see if you have any additions or friendly amendments. Anybody have anything for us? Need another minute? You're good? Everybody good? Do I have a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
Motion to accept the minutes.
Karin, do we have a second?
Second.
Second? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay, the minutes are passed as presented. Thank you very much. Moving on, we're on to the treasurer's report. Treasurer Schluter.
One thing I'd like to do is just pass this around for names and emails. We'll start here and just kind of wind it back through if we could. So those that don't know me, I've My name's Scott Schluter. I'm the treasurer. Let's see, what's up? Where's the? I'll just use this. So, Steve, yeah? Test? Is it on? Thanks, Jim. On screen. All right. So this is the very grueling and boring part of this meeting. I'm going to try to breeze through it as quickly as I can. Let's see here. Let me figure this baby out. Do we have a pointer, Jeff?
It's the middle one.
Oh, there we go. So basically, we're going to try to go down the focus here on the last two columns. So we have year to date. This is what was spent, and this is what the budget was. And refresh your memories that the way our system works, the president's term doesn't fit the fiscal terms, right, of the annual cycle. So Mark set up this meeting. Will really be on Karn's budget. So remember, there's that kind of weirdness of all that. So all these numbers reported are really Mark's meeting, but Dimitri's meeting. So we're kind of passing judgment on Dimitri a bit. So here's Mark's budget line. Here's the total. So these are receipts, what we brought in. And you can look down what we had budgeted and then what came in. And obviously in the past years we've thrown out a number, and I would argue very arbitrarily, on what meetings might cost and what we might bring in. And we far exceeded that. And this meeting would show us again that we don't know really what the hell we're doing because we can't predict what people do, right? So you'll see that Karn's doing a little bit better of a job of trying to actually capture this number, and it might scare some people, but we'll get to that. So anyway, that's way out of line. Budget was 21, we took in $30,476. On the raffle, we projected $1,500, we took in $2,663. This one will probably be another doozy, probably set the new bar. The workshop, we projected for $2,000, it was $450 for receipts. Those were from the meeting that people came last year to the workshop only. Interest, whopping $182.02 last year. Nothing in miscellaneous. The fish atlases, this was me, all on me. So we projected that we have our doors knocked down and people will want these books in the worst way, for a total of $2,600, and we sold 566. We still have them, so that's not a big deal. They will sell. They're selling real good at this meeting.
How much are they?
40 bucks. You can see me right outside that. Donations, we projected 500, and this was 1,200, and this was thanks to Mark, and we'll talk a little bit about this. There was 500 donation. We loaned our squad of easels to the Wildlife Society. Is that correct?
Correct.
And they gave us a $500 donation for that. That was one. The other was part of the raffle. Mark wanted that Hornbeck last year, and we offer up to each president-elect running the raffle $250 of chapter money for seat money for the raffle. So Mark went and got a $500 donation on top of that to add to that $250 to get the donation for that Hornbeck, which was half price that we got it for. So that's why this was so high. So ultimately, year to date, $37,874.99. Expenditures, again, budget on the right column, year to date on the left. Annual meeting year to date expenditures were $29,332. The workshop, that was $3,000 for the workshop last year, $288.74 for the travel of James Ray to get here to give that workshop. 2018 annual meeting, the $1,750 was a down payment on this year's workshop, so that's half the price, half the cost of this year's workshop we had to put up front. PayPal from last year's meeting, the total charges, they charge us a percentage, and if anyone has any finite details, Eric might be the better guy to ask, but we spent they charged us $755.83, and that's for that online registration component that's made our life a lot easier. I just throw that out there. The raffle, we spent $700, but again, it was offset. We really only spent 200 of our own money, 500 was the donation that Mark had got. Office supplies, $45.85. Student travel awards, best paper, best poster, that sort of thing, is the classic $1,050. NED officer meeting expense and AFS national expense. Mark had 900 in there for the budget. For NED, he charged us nothing on both those, so we made out there, and thanks to Mark. Donations, zero. Youth education. Tom caught up on some activities, and I think we're going to hear from him on the path forward, but the youth education, some of that was from the year before, $573.09, and recall that Tom went on a string of stretching a $500 budget for about 5 years and never spending a dime. Award plaques, those are the combination AFS awards and the fancy wood plaques that we give out for Conservationists of the Year and Professional Achievement. That was 323. Miscellaneous, this is kind of an odd mix of a $300 or $400 camera that you're looking at right there to film some of the talks, some of the connector cables we needed, some other odds and ends that mostly meeting related. If someone wants those details, I can get them. The Muskie Symposium book that Mike Clancy had agreed to give $1,000 to the society to publish that Muskie book. There's 2 of them in the raffle. Unfortunately, Mark drew the short straw, and that check went out on his watch. So Mike had a great idea. Mark paid for it. The trade-off of that is we extorted 5 free books out of them. So 2 of them are in the raffle downstairs, and we'll keep them trickling them into the raffle and out here.
Oh, there's a projector in that somewhere.
Projector, that's what it was.
Yeah.
The other item I couldn't think about of that miscellaneous was a projector. One of the HDMI, modern projectors that go with our modern DC or AFS computers, so we're completely off the agency grid for this meeting, which makes Jeff's life much more pleasurable. Total expenditures, $39,597.07. So you can see the budget line. So the bottom line is this balance, and again, this is some of Dimitri's meeting and some of these other things. On Mark's watch, we're $1,722.08 in the hole. But again, some of that's the Muskie book, that's $1,000. As you go through these, it's pretty explainable. Some of those costs were not really associated with Mark, but kind of the long-term kind of AFS machine rolling along, books, all that. So that's not really a loss. So let's see here. Balances on everything. I'll just go down that right-hand column. So right now we're at, these are our tallies. We have as a total, as of December 31st of 17, we had $35,168.94. That's broken down from $1,288 in our checking. The 2, remember we only have 2 CDs now. We pulled 2 of them out and invested them with AFS, the investment instrument they have. So we have $6,077 in CD 70, $59.48 in CD 71. That $10,000 investment with AFS. We've had a heck of a time getting information out of AFS, right? So I send belligerent emails to them, try to get, only a few are privy to those, try to get information back. So they're supposed to give us quarterly reports on in our balance, the quarterly reports of the performance of it, quarterly balance, what our balance is. I managed to sneak one out of them the other day after several attempts within the last month. Terrible, like the worst thing I think I've interacted with AFS on is this, right? So right now we know that our $10,000 went in. We made about $804 last year. So we're making more money than our CDs. Remember, the CDs were like 0.5%. So we're doing better. Not sure what to say other than we have to let the thing go on for a bit and see how we're doing. But we know it's better than the CDs, and we can get the money out anytime. So, any questions on that part from anyone? Nothing. I'll throw this graph up again. It's kind of relatively meaningless with the 4% because that's probably not the actual inflation rate. The idea was we kind of track down. So for folks new to the room, you're kind of chunking along in here. This was the big bump in '06 was our national AFS earnings where we made a ton of money. And we had so much in the bank, the plan was let's spend money at losses for meetings and get back to the membership and spend that down. So we spent it down, and now we're kind of just hovering around, and the idea was to kind of keep it in pace with inflation and have enough in the bank to hold a meeting with no other income, right? Just like one whole meeting, rainy day fund. So that's kind of where we're at.
Where's the
That went away last year, only because I'm usually doing this graph sitting at the table, and I only do those animated fish things once a year. It takes me about an hour to figure it out. I thought my time's worth more than that, and sort of fish on that drops off the screen. If you want it back, I can bring it back. Any questions? So I'm going to jump ahead, unbeknownst to Mark here, because I'm going to get called up in about 5 minutes for this part. So I'll just throw this graph up quick. So membership, recall, we have a combination of things. It's hard to track. In short, if you want gory details, you can talk to me, but in short, the only time we get an accurate membership count is in September, where we have all the pieces aligned. And this is what we have. So we have, if you look down the columns, 2015, 16, and 17. So we have folks that are AFS members that also paid their New York chapter dues. And I make the pledge or request again that if you're going to be a society member, that you pay your chapter dues through them. Because we get that $10 you would hand me at the station out front, plus they give us a kickback, right? Like another $3 or 3%, I think. But anyways, it adds up over time. So these are the numbers. So 2017, 150. See, they've been hovering around 146, 162. Then we have breakdowns of students. So I mean, regular memberships are at 75, which is about the same. And you know, students are hanging in there. They got that new young professional component that's relatively stable. The life members, there's a little bit of a glitch there, and I don't know, I don't think we lost that many life members this past year, but because they are life members, I don't know, the reporting makes me suspect. But then here's chapter only, so these are folks that either paid when they registered or gave me money at the desk. So we had this past year 77 regular, 21 students, 98 total for the chapter only, bringing us to 248. Which compares to 231 and 233 for the past years. So I would say this, and I bring this up at every meeting, and I never follow up on it in the subsequent meetings, but so there's 21 students here. Those are students that actually paid. And we had 17 others come to a meeting that didn't pay, and I didn't include them here because this was only paid students. We don't really, in my tenure, I don't know the rule, but we've never really talked about it much on what constitutes student membership, right? Whether it's just if you're a student, we don't enforce that to make them be members, but I only count the ones that pay. So, you know, it'd be interesting what the path forward. I'm looking at Karen on what the path forward might be and what her take is, and we can talk about it. But I mean, obviously, I think if a student comes to one of these meetings, I think they should be included, right? I mean, that's a lot of effort for a student to get here and do that. So, anyway. Any questions on this?
I would just comment that for those that are only New York chapter members, AFS now offers with full membership access to all of their journals as part of your membership with no extra charge. So I would definitely encourage everybody to join full AFS. At that level, AFS is the society. New York is a chapter of it. So I would still encourage people to go the full out.
And just building on that, you get access to everything all the way back. So Progressive Fish Culturist, 1870, Volume 1, Number 1, first article is about American shad. So anyway, you can see the whole thing. And for students, the dues are going to be $25. So it's I guess the cost of a beer more than what it is now or something. So it's ridiculous if you don't join the national. Honestly. And then become a young professional.
Forget something.
You know, and carry it through because you'll be mobile, but you'll have the membership and you'll have
Well, they have. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is approve the treasurer's report. Any more questions for Scott? So I need a motion to accept the treasurer's report as presented. Try saying that 5 times.
We're being told we don't have to.
You don't
We
have to.
don't
It's
have
a
to?
report. It is a financial report.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Please.
Can we please give an applause?
I was going to ask for that anyway. Scott does an excellent job with all this. I mean, my gosh. I'll be interested to know why we don't have to approve that, but we can talk about that later.
I can discuss it with you over beer.
They
Okay.
also meet every meeting, so.
She yells at you to approve it?
No, every meeting.
Oh, okay. We're on to committee reports. Communications Committee, Jeff Eckerlin. You have a few words for us?
Not much to say other than we did spend a little bit more money this year, got a projector. This is not it, but it's identical to this one so that we can split screens and they'll be the same. So we have 3 computers, a projector, and that's our camera. The rest of the stuff I beg, borrow, and steal. And we're recording all of the talks here this week, and they'll be on YouTube by the end of the weekend. Ben's going to take care of that. I'm trying to bring somebody else in because I can't be in 3 rooms at the same time. So I've been getting help from Ben, John Gray, and Jordan Luzier. I don't know if I pronounced his name right, but 3 guys in the hatchery system that stepped up, and really appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. Annual meeting, local arrangements, Rom Poprowski.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for attending. As you have probably seen walking around, it's our record meeting by almost 25%. For at last check, 296 people registered. We're probably going to push 300. We should go over that. We're over it? Okay, we're at 300 now. So we get that. The Otis Saga has been tremendous to us. They've welcomed every request we have, so we owe them a big thank you. Other than that, I think we're doing pretty good. All we got to do is get through this banquet, and then everybody will be happy. We do have 4 kegs for the night, plus 2 sixtels of hard cider for anybody who enjoys that. So I hope you have a good time. Thank you again.
Program, Dan Stitch.
Thanks for coming to the,
How many presentations do we have?
somewhere just shy of 100 now. 55, 56 posters, piles of talks. We have 4 different sessions this afternoon, 3 more tomorrow morning. We only have 1 empty slot tomorrow. So some really great focused sessions tomorrow morning as well. A few more student talks. So for anybody who's judging, those should be wrapped up by 10 a.m. Per request of the student group here. So you should be able to have plenty of time to pass judgment and make decisions. And we've been discussing the possibility, Brian and I are going to look into the possibility of trying to find something hopefully free, at least very inexpensive, that we can use for organizing those things as we move forward. So right now, a lot of copying and pasting on our emails and Word files in at least several dozen different formats, so you can't write code for it, which makes it not fun for me. So we're looking into that for the next group.
What Dan's saying is that the program numbers are outgrowing our ability to organize the program like by hand. We need some automation somehow. That's what he's, sorry to paraphrase. You know. Newsletter, Scott George. Where are you, Scott?
So I think most folks are aware, a couple of years ago we transitioned from a more traditional PDF newsletter to just a rolling science blog that's updated almost in real time as I get submissions. Eric tells me, well, last year we were the third most popular page on our website. This year we've advanced to being the second most popular. So the goal at this time next year will be to have overtaken the welcome home page as the most popular page. That may not be possible, but the goal, honestly, is to receive submissions on just a rolling basis from the membership. And we have 15 submissions this year, down 2 from 17 the year before. But my goal is to get approximately 2 per month to keep it fresh. And I've tried, I'm open to suggestions, I've tried hard to make it as painless as possible. I just need 3 to 6 sentences and 1 or 2 photos or figures, anything interesting that you're doing, a new project that's off the ground, a new invasive species just popped up, you just published something, whatever. We want student submissions. We've only had a handful of them so far, but we're trying to increase that, and with limited success at this point. And if you're in academia and you have suggestions on that, I'd love to hear them. And I guess a final update, I worked with Eric on our website, so the right column of our website now is showing newsletter updates. I mean, the newsletter probably gets updated more frequently than probably any other part of the site, so why not have that in plain view on the main page? So I put up the most interesting photo and a little teaser on that right column. I think it's on any page you go to, and then you click on the teaser, it takes you to the exact spot on the newsletter blog that has that article and associated photo. So that seems to be going pretty well. And as always, open to suggestions to make it better.
Thank you. Website, Eric Lettermore.
Scott, is it on here?
Oh, I'm sorry, Eric. It's in that folder.
Oh, thank you.
As Scott had mentioned, we're going to start right off with our top 10, and there it is. Number 2, newsletter blog. So we're making some progress. These are the hits we had for the entire year. I updated our statistical software on the website so I can break it up for each day, each week, each quarter, each month, whatever weird dates we want to put in there, we can do it. So I just decided, since the last time I did this was a year ago, I might as well do the entire year. And it's pretty remarkable.
No.
18,000 visits last year. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. And I think it shows, we have 300 people here today. The attendance to these meetings has just been going up and up and up and up. And I often wonder how many of the youth we're actually reaching. And now that I'm getting older, I can track what people are using to access our website. There's the Androids, the Blackberries, the Chrome, the iPads, iPhones, all that stuff. A Kindle Fire is a little iPad, and then an Xbox. I had no clue that you could use a video game system to surf the internet. I thought it was pretty cool. So that tells me it's not my generation doing it. Well, maybe it is, but probably not. So that's a good thing.
The detour on Fast and Furious.
These are our top referrals. That never changes. The Google is always number 1. It's like the Google, Everyone should get one. I don't know. And this is our activity. We actually have 535 members now. We had a rush of people joining through. On our website, on the left-hand side, there's the spot where you can subscribe to our emails. So our email blasts about these meetings, newsletter items, or anything coming up. Maybe it's a workshop in the middle of summer. We're going to use that to blast out to everybody the details on whatever we're going to be doing. The job board was slower this year than it was last year. It's down by 50%. We're still doing maintenance. We got 24 pages. The historian stuff is up there. It's PDFs by year, so it goes back to 1965. We have them right now. We're going to probably clean it up a little bit more. I've been trying to rotate pages so you can just easily look at it. It's like one PDF file for the most part for each year. So you can scroll down through. There's some really awesome information in there. I've been reading some as I've been working through it. It's pretty remarkable. And this is our PayPal activity. This is earlier in the year, 2017, here's 2018. We opened registration a little bit earlier this year than we had in the past, and you can see a little bit of activity started. And then as January hit, we got a huge influx of activity, and I only carried this out to the end of, well actually the middle to end of January, because I was going to be here. I didn't have time to update it. And you'll see another spike here, and that's because of the walk-ins and the last-minute registrations. And with that, is there any questions?
Thank you. Excellent report. Audit Finance, Frank Flack, you got anything?
I just received the books today, and they will be reviewed in the next week, and we'll post the results on the website.
Thank you
So
for
it'll be number one, probably.
Thank you for that. Scott, you just talked about membership? Yep, so we're good with that? Dimitri, you got anything to say? Where's Dimitri? Membership?
No, I'm good.
No, you're good? Anybody else? We're good. Professional incentives, special awards, Ross? No report? Yep, okay. Jim Daly, workshop.
Okay, yep, we had the workshop yesterday. We had James Ray, once again, from the Alan Alda Center. I think he did a great job. People that were there saw it. And it was very well attended. We had about 135 signed up, maybe 100 actually showed up, which is pretty good considering the weather we had yesterday. So yeah, it went really well. For next year, we're thinking about doing maybe like a data visualization type workshop, and I'm not sure how it's going to go yet. We have two kind of competing ideas. One would be, and we might do both, a standalone separate workshop from the main conference, which might be like 2 half days. You know, you pay to register, and be a hands-on kind of R programming data visualization thing, probably with Dan Stitch as the instructor. And then in conjunction with the main meeting, maybe again a data visualization thing, but more like, you know, how do you, not a hands-on programming thing, but conceptually, how do you portray complex topics in an easy to understand way? And maybe using some more like infographics type stuff like I see in New York Times, that kind of thing. So I got to figure out if that's a 4-hour workshop and if we get the right person to do it, but that's where we're going. So if anybody has any ideas or suggestions, I'm always open for that. So let me know.
Thank you, Jim. Student subunit, Brian, are you here? No. We added Stony Brook and Paul Smith.
Question mark?
Question mark.